Hi, you guys. Hello, hello. It is a gorgeous night in New York City. So I thought I would bring you guys with me on a little walk with Fiona. You know, she's a little over 9 now, so she's considered a senior dog. So our walks are a little bit slow. Sometimes she just stops. And we take a little break. So that's what we're doing right now. And I'm calling all introverts out there because it's Friday night and I don't really have anything to do and I'm really happy about it. I didn't even look on Hinge to see if there were any possibilities of a date. I'm just going to take it easy tonight. In fact, I don't really have much to do all weekend. So what I wanted to talk about in this video are the not three, I think I have about 5 takeaways from, that date that didn't go so well. So welcome to my colorful life after a great divorce. My name's Regan, also known as the Easy Ex-Wife, and here on this channel we talk about everything from divorce to dating to just living single over the age of 50. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the takeaways from that first date because I think I learned a lot. Okay, it's kind of windy and my hair is sticking to my lip gloss. Anyway, this is the first time I've ever walked around with a selfie stick and a phone, and I'm not embarrassed at all. I didn't pick a super busy street because, I just didn't want it to be annoying to other people. Every now and then I have to give Fiona a little tug because she'll find pizza crust on the ground or a bagel. Okay, so anyway, my takeaways. The first huge takeaway for me is I am going to have low expectations from now on going into a first date, which sounds a little bit negative, but you know what I did with this other guy is, I kept looking at his profile pictures and reading what he had put on his profile, and I think I just imagined him to be something other than what he was. So that's my first takeaway, is just have lower expectations, and not in a negative way, but just, here's Fiona, but just to avoid some disappointment. My next takeaway, number 2 out of 5, is, I told you guys we hugged, and I don't think I'm gonna hug people. If I go out on a date with someone from Hinge, someone I've never met in person, there's not going to be hugging. I will put out my hand, and I'm a hugger too, but I think that can kind of set the tone for the whole date. And, maybe the fact that I hugged him when he came in made him think that I am a touchy-feely kind of person. And I guess I'm realizing that I'm not, especially with someone that I hardly know. Fiona's taking a little break. I think she might have to poop. If she does, I won't put that on camera. So I'm gonna offer a hand or a fist bump. Tell me what you guys do out there when you go on a first date with someone. Do you hug them? I think I'm gonna go with the handshake. And maybe a handshake where you shake the hand and then you put your other hand on top of theirs, because that seems a little bit more friendly and not as businesslike. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Okay. All right, a bus just stopped, so I'm gonna turn it off for a second because it's kind of loud, and then we're gonna move on to number 3, because number 3 involves the hug. So we're heading down to the waterfront. I'll show you guys the Hudson River when we get down there, but we have to cross a pretty major street. Welcome to New York on a Friday night. All right, I'll see you when we get down to the water. Okay, we are almost along the waterfront, and yeah, let's go on to number 3, the hug. So not not the initial hug. The initial hug, our greeting hug, that's the one I'm going to switch to a handshake. But then you guys might remember that when we were getting ready to leave, he gave me a long hug right after we had been in the restroom. So I wasn't comfortable with that. And I think next time I would probably somehow try to avoid the hug, or if it was unavoidable and they were hugging me before I had given them permission to hug me, I would have said, I just don't feel comfortable with this hug. And so that was my next takeaway. Oh, I need to back up because the no job thing. So we had been chatting for over an hour before we hit the topic of work. And so when he told me he had no job, I still carried on like the date was going great. But for me, it really did like shine a bad light on the whole date. Someone being out of work since COVID and not being able to find a job just rubbed me wrong. So with that, instead of carrying on like the fact that he had no job wasn't a big deal to me at all, I would probably maybe tried to end the date a little sooner or started to wrap things up. Okay, next let's talk about, Fiona, which way you want to go? You want to go this way? Which way? She hears the music. Can you see behind me there's a booze cruise that's about to take off and they've got the music playing. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is the hand holding. I mentioned that I didn't want to hold hands, and I probably should have just spoken up and said that instead of walking a couple blocks holding hands with someone that I didn't want to hold hands with. So next time around, if someone goes to hold my hand, I will just right away say, oh, I'm not comfortable holding hands. And yeah, as simple as that. So I will go into another date just way more prepared for these kind of things to happen. Maybe expecting some of the worst things, the things that I just don't want to happen. Just go in expecting that they might happen. Okay, I don't know how many takeaways I have named so far, but it's probably going to be more than 5 because I can already think of a couple more. Let me show you guys the Intrepid. It's a Navy ship. So we're right down on the Hudson right now. Pretty cool. Fiona and I come here every night when the weather's warm. No. She's digging in the dirt. Come on, let's walk to the water. Come on, girl. Okay, so next up is, all right, we did the hand holding. Next is the kiss, kind of the same thing as the hand holding. I think I need to just prepare for that someone might lean in for a kiss. Oh, good girl, she's going tinkle. And yeah, be more prepared because I wasn't prepared and I let it happen when I didn't want it to happen and I didn't turn my cheek fast enough. Because there's nothing wrong with saying no to any of this. If you're not comfortable, just say no. Just say no and don't feel bad about it. Okay, and the very last thing, I touched on this in my last video about what happened after the date, and You guys were super vocal, which I love because I love to hear your thoughts. I love getting advice from you guys, and you all were spot on. I should never have just returned that text from him and said, have a great day. That's the text where right away I should have said something about, thanks for a nice evening, but I'm just not feeling it. Instead I waited a couple texts, and I think that can lead someone on. So in the future, if I'm not feeling it, I will either tell that person face to face on the date or right after the date. Okay, so just a little recap. I will just have lower expectations going into the date. I'm not gonna imagine some Prince Charming where everything goes perfect, because is there such a thing? I don't think so. And then the initial greeting when you're first seeing that person, I'm going with a handshake or a fist bump. You guys tell me what you think's better, handshake, fist bump, or would you just keep doing the hug and just hope someone doesn't get the wrong impression? And then when it comes to the hand holding, the long hug at the bar, or the kiss, just say no. If you're uncomfortable, you just say no. And I know now going into it, the next time it'll be much, much easier. And the reason it will be much easier is because I will anticipate those kind of things happening where I just didn't think any of this through. But live and learn. Okay, so I think that is it for the takeaways. I hope, oh, Fiona, you're not allowed on that grass. Come on, off the grass. Come on, come on. The dogs aren't allowed on the grass down here, so it's really hard because that's exactly where she wants to go, of course. But what we're gonna do is go sit on a bench, and there's not much of a sunset tonight because it's kind of cloudy, but the weather is just glorious. I love New York. Thank you so much for joining me today. I had a lot of fun on our little walk and talk, and please leave some comments down below. I love our small and mighty community. You guys are so vocal, and I just appreciate each and every one of you so much. I love you. I can't wait to see you next time. And until then, bye. And so does Fiona. Fiona! She's too busy looking for crumbs. Oh, I think she found something.